Hi, my name is Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer. I've been trading for 15 years, and every single week, I like to give you a macro weekly analysis on Friday afternoons, breaking down what we talked about last week and seeing what's coming up for the week ahead. Let's break it down. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, Total 3, the DXY, Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, and the S&P. I can't wait to break it down for you. Let's jump into it. First thing we're going to do is start off with Bitcoin and see where we are headed. So, yes, the weekly is high. Yes, the stochastics on the weekly is high, but just so you know, the last few times we had huge pumps, the stochastic stayed high for a very long time. We can get pinned in this area on these bigger time frames, but yes, we are a bit overbought on the weekly time frame. This is finally the first bigger red candle we've seen, kind of headed on into the weekend. So 2 more days for this candle to close, and we will have our first red weekly candle in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight weeks of pumpage for Bitcoin. So will that happen? Could it happen? It's on the radar. It's possible. We'd have to get a major pump before then to stop this. That does tell me there could be somewhat of a pullback. I've been watching the 5-day chart very, very closely. Remember, I kept telling you, as long as we stayed above the 200 SMA and as long as we stayed above this trend line, we had nothing to worry about. Do we come and retest this trend line? Possibility, but you know, the fact that we boomed up above this 5-day 200 SMA is a big deal. Also, I'm going to talk about that again on the total. We have something else to show you that I believe is foreshadowing the fact that Bitcoin is actually going to run pretty hard, but I'll show you in a second. Stay tuned. So this shows me, and then again, if I look at the 5-day chart and I take away everything else too, the 5-day has a green candle and starting to form some type of consolidation. What we want is we want the 5-day to consolidate, either in a slight slope or downward motion or a slight sideways motion, and to catch up with this 21-day moving average. Everyone wants to know, are we going to come revisit these lows and bounce off of 37,006, or are we going to solidify it and stay higher than that? I have a bit of an idea here of what is likely going to happen. The daily has reset nicely, so that's a really, really good sign. The moving averages near the 21, they're starting to get far apart, but they can still run to the upside. I'm going to move to the 6 hour here where I see us in a cup and handle. Sammy, cup and handy, yes. And this 6 hour could be flipping a rounded push to the upside here. It's a very interesting sign that we may get a bounce to the upside. I've been watching this. We dumped. I called hidden bullish divergence on the daily time frame. This is a really big deal. I didn't see anyone really else bring it up. Swing down to swing down. This swung up. That told me we should break this high inside the trend before we break this low. It basically tells you that that's your low. I ended up going pretty hard at around 41.8. I put $20,000 worth into Bitcoin. We'll see how that ends up panning out over time. But right now, the daily looks like we're solidifying some type of symmetrical triangle, getting tighter for a bigger move. Same thing here. Now, the 22 does have a little bit of bearish div that played out, but so far we have bounced off of that divergence, and there's a chance we get a bigger move to the upside. I'm watching the 6 hour right now to see if we bounce back to the upside. There's 2 ideas. One could be you could bring this trend line down and say we're just getting tighter inside of a symmetrical triangle, which will have a 50-50 shot of either way of breaking out the base of the triangle. We're either going to go down here and retest the 6 hour 200 SMA, or we're going to continue this move and break out to the upside and reach somewhere to 47,164. That's going to be our, measured move of this symmetrical triangle. But tonight we find out, in the next few days, if we continue and we hit the top trend line here, it'll change kind of the way we're looking at it. It could be, we could maybe be doing something like this, hit the top trend line, come back down. But right now, it's looking like we're doing some type of symmetrical triangle here for Bitcoin. This is what I'm watching, but there's a cup and handle inside that does have a pretty big measured move. The 4 hour also came down, but also got a bounce so far off of previous resistance. Previous resistance became support. We didn't lose the point of control. 42K is really, really, holding right now. If we lose 42,000, we were going to test definitely 40,800 and then likely fall further down. One thing I wanted to talk, and I told my students, was once we lost the 200 SMA on the 1 hour, it was likely we're going to go to the 200 SMA on the 2 hour, which we did. Had we lost the 200 SMA on the 2 hour, it was likely we were going to head all the way down to the 200 SMA on the 4 hour time frame. The fact that we got our bounce low, high, higher, low, can we put in a higher high? Bitcoin must get above resistance at 43,500 to remain bullish. This is going to be our resistance here. If we flip this, oh my gosh, we come for this and there's big movement coming. If we do not flip that area, we could be making the more bearish symmetrical triangle and drop to the downside. In my lifetime, even though the symmetrical triangle is a 50-50 pattern, I have seen it break down more than I've seen it break to the upside. However, what do I see happening? I see the 6 hour making a move to the upside. I see Bitcoin breaking out of this higher low here and getting a bigger move. Whether it breaks through resistance is the question, but I do see Bitcoin starting its move up, and it's going to probably challenge 43,500, and then we're going to go from there. Bigger time frames, if we ended up, following through and staying more concise, consolidative, this does have a very large move to the upside, and that would bring us to a $49,000 Bitcoin, and it could even happen somewhere by the end of December. So I'm not guaranteeing we're going up that high, but there is a chance, there is a measured move, there's a possibility we still have a bit of a Santa rally coming, as it's only the 15th and we're halfway through the month of December. So what to watch for? Well, Bitcoin has made a higher high. There's a low, there's a high, there's a higher high. That's a great sign. We need Bitcoin to break this high right here at 43,500, 43,440. If we can't get above this level, we're consolidating and there's chance of a downside. But I do see a reversal, at least on the smaller time frames, for a move back up, and we'll go from there. Right now, we want to see the 1 hour get out of this falling wedge. So right now, you're watching for the 1 hour on the small time frames, just for confirmation. You're looking for the 1 hour to break out of this wedge. It may come down one more time like this, but you're looking for the 1 hour to break out and head to the top of this channel. That will solidify kind of this cup and handle and the idea that we are getting the consolidative sideways movement for Bitcoin. While Bitcoin goes sideways, it's usually great for the alts, especially on a Saturday. So the weekend looks like it could be setting up for some good altcoin trading. We're going to take a look at the total market cap in all of cryptocurrency. And one thing I want to talk about was, remember when Bitcoin got above the 5-day 200 SMA? Ended up being a really big deal. Once Bitcoin got above the 5-day 200 SMA right here, I kept telling everyone that was going to be huge, and as long as we stayed above it, we would see a big move coming, and we did get the big move for Bitcoin. Look at total now. Total's right where Bitcoin was about, I don't know, let's see. We can almost look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 35 days ago. So total's about 35 days behind Bitcoin, and this just got above the 200 SMA. This tells me a massive amount of money is going to be coming into the altcoins and into Bitcoin, and we're about to see a massive rally. The 21's coming for the 200 SMA. That's a good sign. The 21 crossed the 50. I mean, as long as the total market cap stays above 145 and we stay above the 200 SMA on the 5-day chart, we are going to moon like you wouldn't believe. So we're just watching this flag. This flag is going to play out. Maybe it goes sideways a little more, but I see a monster move for the total market cap, which means the altcoins and Bitcoin are ready for some type of bigger movement, and that's what I see happening coming. So the total market cap is showing me a lot of strength. It only has resistance really at 163, or a little high there, 164. It gets or 1649. It gets above there, it can gap really fast to $2 trillion. And now we're a $2 trillion asset class. Things are going to be starting to change. That's going to get people paying attention to cryptocurrency. So I'm bullish overall right now on the 5-day chart, making a move in the daily, resetting, and, keeping the same, consolidative idea. If we, zoom in here, similar to Bitcoin, we're just looking for this to consolidate and then get the next leg to the upside on the daily. Bang. Just like it did here, similar idea. It may take, 10 or 12 days, a couple weeks for this consolidation. Remember, Bitcoin consolidates, moves, consolidates, moves, consolidates, moves. Most of the time, it's consolidating. Here, it was consolidating with a slight uptrend and the Livermore cylinder. But so I'm watching for this to go more sideways, total market cap, and a bigger move coming is looking pretty highly probable for the whole market cap in cryptocurrency. So it looks good. It doesn't look bearish, right? We look at the altcoins, and they had an Adam and Eve double bottom here. Then they came right to resistance, but so far they're like just about to peek through resistance. Right there, you can see they got above the resistance. I circled it there. 2 areas there we've hit before. I guess you can see it even on the daily chart, right? It's a pretty strong resistance, and we bounced from it. So we wanted to see us get back above that area. We're right at it. All we need is just one more push-up. The fact that we just got above the 200 SMA is a very big sign on the daily. This is the market cap of all the altcoins, excluding Ethereum and Bitcoin. So this is total 3. Just in case, I wanted to introduce. Total 3 is all the altcoins excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Right now, they're looking very, very bullish. It almost looks like the altcoins want to make a bit of a rising wedge and break out parabolically. So a lot of your altcoins, if you see it in a rising wedge, highly likely it could break out. Our next target for the altcoins is 527. This makes sense considering what we're seeing with total getting above the 5-day 200 SMA, which means a bunch of money's coming from somewhere for total. and it's coming into the altcoins. So I do see a big move coming for altcoins, and it looks like altcoins are going to continue their rally that they've been on for a while. The DXY will have to dump for this to occur. We talked about it losing the 200 SMA on the daily time frame, and we said once that happens, we should see more downside. We did get that dump to the downside. So far, everything is going out as planned. We made the symmetrical triangle that we talked about last week. So far, that ended up breaking to the downside as such. I see us headed all the way to the 200 SMA on the 4-day chart. That would be my next target. And then if we break that even further down, even inside this bigger flag, I see us coming down to the bottom of the flag. Dollar index continuing its move to the downside, as we suggested, continuing to dump. The 4-hour coming back up, and look what it's going to do. It looks like it wants to do what's called a bearish retest. Wants to come and retest the previous resistance area here, use that, and then continue further to the downside. So even the 4-hour looks like it's going to break down. The 1-hour looks absolutely horrible, like a big dump is coming. This tells me that Bitcoin, even if Bitcoin had no buyers and it was flat, Bitcoin would pump this weekend based on what I'm seeing. This dump on the dollar could actually help Bitcoin maintain a green candle on the weekly. So the dollar index about to drop on the 1-hour. I see more downside, and it's continuing further to the downside as we suggested. Really, really awesome to see. Bitcoin dominance, right? 1, 2, 3, bottom of a channel. Looks like it may try to get a bit of a bounce here. Struggling and battling. If it doesn't, it could go lower, but it's a bit of a cup and handle. I do see it recovering. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin got some ETF news and eventually got a pretty big pump. This is suggesting that some type of ETF news may be coming. You also have hidden bullish divergence on the dominance. If I can get this out of the way here, hold on. You have hidden bullish divergence. As this swings down, while that swings up, tells me that we're going to continue to the upside and we're going to break this high for Bitcoin dominance. So I really like what I'm seeing here for Bitcoin dominance. It does suggest we will get a push up, though, for Bitcoin. The whole market will go up, but it doesn't look like Bitcoin's going to give up too much dominance. We had a nice rally. Look at this. I mean, for the last, ever since, December 6th, the beginning of December, for 2 weeks now, we've had a really good altcoin rally, and that's because dominance has been slowly sliding down. To me, it's at a support zone. It's in a falling wedge. I wouldn't be surprised. The charts are telling me that Bitcoin dominance is going to take a move further to the upside. And Tether dominance would have to dump for that, making perfect sense. Look at the daily getting overbought and headed inside of another, more bearish flag here and staying below resistance areas. I see the Tether dominance continuing to the downside. Why would you want to be in Tether? Who is stacking Tether right now? Not a smart place to be. All right. Last but not least, I like to just look at the traditional markets. I told you they were going to continue to print money. I told you they were going to continue to boom the prices to the upside. I went over this. I found the bullish divergence on the weekly. I found this cup and handle. I even gave you the exact entry on the S&P with the stop right here. That stop can be brought to break even. We are now in huge gains as we entered right there in the falling wedge of this cup and handle to the upside. The S&P continuing to bang on to the upside since my call weeks and weeks ago now at this point. I found the divergence there and even called for the reversal there. I even called the reversal a year ago before that. Anyway, then we drew this flag the last time you were with me, and we talked about it breaking to the upside. So far, that's exactly what happened. Bang, bang, bang. Now, the 12-hour looks like it may need to reset, but that it might only take a couple days. Something like this looks like it will be occurring, either a lateral flag or a sideways flag. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but the 21 will interact with price, and I wouldn't be surprised when I come here next week, we're further up into the $5,000 level. They have to keep printing money. There's no other way. And when they print that money, it's going to make things that are already valued in the dollar go up further and further in price. So this is going to put real estate up. This is going to put stock market up. This is going to put crypto up and all risk on assets. Also, we have a perfect storm forming as the Fed can't raise rates anymore. If they keep raising rates, they're going to just create the whole world. They're going to bankrupt us and take us all the way down. If they don't raise rates, the dollar is going to continue to lose value over time and eventually collapse under its own weight. We know this. This is why people are already getting into new forms of money. And, if enough of us find new forms of money, the dollar can collapse and we'll be okay. Enough of us will have enough to help out the other people and kind of carry on society. So there will be a new form of money at one point. Society never stays the same for long periods of time. Look up history. You are living in a paradigm shift right now, one of the greatest shifts in all of human history. This time will be remembered for a long, long time. And the people that took advantage of it, that worked hard and stayed disciplined, are the people that are going to change their financial freedom and their financial future for their entire families for generations to come. I'm telling you right now, this is an eye-opening time to pay attention. You definitely want to be a part of the crypto revolution if you can. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. Please get yourself a financial advisor and do your own due diligence before getting into any project, coin, or trade. This is your weekly macro analysis for Bitcoin. Total 3, the DXY, Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, and the S&P futures. I hope to see you next week here on Friday, where you can continue to get these juicy macro gains. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. And remember, if you came to my channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Crypto is life.